Good evening. We're back with another Marvel Snap video, and this evening will be a card review for Havok, which was just released today, December 19th, 2023. So we'll take a look at the card, and I'll give my recommendations on whether or not to spend Spotlight caches or tokens on it. Havok was released into Series 4, which means a cost of 3,000 tokens if you're inclined to use tokens. The other cards in the Spotlight cache are Legion and Nico, along with the usual mystery card. Nico and Legion are both good cards. Nico is better than Legion. But I'm not going to bury the lead on Havok. Havok is not a good card. I've seen other opinions, but we're going to go into why I think Havok is not a good card now. So first we'll establish the criteria of what a good card is according to me. If you're looking at a straight power card, no utility, that means no ability to project power into other lanes, no ability to lock down lanes, no ability to counter other cards. What we're looking at here is just a straight power card. All he provides is power for energy. For straight power cards, a good card, in my opinion, according to my criteria, would be 3 power per energy. So if you paid 2 energy, 6 power would be a good card. Anything between 2 power per energy and 3 is decent. It's definitely playable, though we would like to get more generally from the cards in our deck. So if we were to get 5 power for 2 cost, that's decent. It's decent. It may be one of the better cards in the slot. If we only get 2 power per energy, we're looking at a card that's playable, but probably going to get phased out as we get better cards. So if we got 4 power for 2 cost, it's a card we'd probably pass on. Anything less than that is pretty bad. So as a straight power card, what do we actually get from Havok? Well, it depends on when you play him. If you play him on turn 6, you get 4 power for 2 cost. It's not terrible, but it's certainly not going to be something we want to spend Spotlight caches on or tokens. That would be a bad decision if you're not a collector and you're buying Havok just to play him on turn 6. Is he good on turn 5? Well, on turn 5 he costs us his base 2 energy, and he costs us 1 energy on turn 6 for a total of 3 energy, and in return we get 8 power. 8 power for 3 energy is definitely not bad. That's pretty high up there in terms of 2 or 3 cost cards. Now the issue is, in order to take full advantage of our turn 5, we have to play Havok and then a 3 cost card, because if you're playing Havok and then another 2 cost card, or you're only playing Havok on 5 and floating energy, then you're negating some of the benefit of his power because you're essentially costing yourself additional energy. But if you play Havok on 5 and you have a 3 drop to go along with him, or if you're playing Ravonna and you have a 4 drop, 8 power for the cost is pretty good. It's nothing exceptional. It's not like Miss Marvel or Sebastian Shaw levels. Miss Marvel, you can often get 15 power for her 4 cost. Sebastian Shaw varies, but you can get far more than 9 power, which is 3 to 1, for his 3 cost. Havok doesn't get anywhere near those cards, even at his best. But 8 power for 3 cost is not bad. It's playable. If we play him on turn 4, he costs us 2 energy, the base 2, plus 1 energy from turn 6, plus 2 energy, or plus 1 energy from turn 5, and then 2 on turn 6, for a total cost of 5 energy. And what we get for the 5 energy is 12 power. That's a little bit less power per energy. Turn 5 is peak Havok. As we go further away from turn 5, he gets less and less efficient. So turn 4 or turn 5, not bad. Turn 4, 12 for 5 isn't that good, to be honest. I mean, Miss Marvel gives you 15 for 4. there's better cards. If we play a 5-drop like Abomination and High Evolutionary, that can give us 9 power for like 2. Havok is not worth spending tokens on, not worth spending Spotlight Caches on if you're going to play him on turn 4. If you play him on turn 3, he's costing 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 energy. 8 energy and you're getting 16 power. 16 power seems like a high number, but when you have to pay 8 energy for it, it's only 2 energy per power. And if you go up from there to 12 energy and you only get 20 power, that's less than 2 to 1. So the earlier you play Havok, the worse he is. Turn 5 is peak Havok and you get 8 energy for 3 power. That's just, it's okay, but it's not worth spending Spotlight Caches on. It's not worth spending tokens on. Do not spend your tokens on this card. Do not spend your Spotlight Caches on this card unless you're a collector. If you're looking to be competitive, Havok's not the card you want. Now, you may hear the argument, well, you can use Ravona to make it better. Yeah, but Ravona works on a lot of cards, and there are other cards that we want to include in our Ravona deck that are better than Havok. Mr. Negative, same situation. There are other cards we want to include in Mr. Negative decks that are better than Havok. What if we Viper Havok over to the other side? Well, then we are paying 4 energy to give the opponent power. Now we do ruin his energy efficiency a little. And depending on the deck that he's running, that can be impactful. Like, for example, if we prevent him from playing Blob on 6 or something. Is you can structure your deck to be good with Havok by not including 6 drops at a minimum. Maybe not 5 drops either. The opponent probably will have 5 or 6 drops and they may be unplayable for him as a result of your Havok, and that would be good. But is it worth buying Havok with Spotlight Caches or tokens to play him with Viper? I don't think so. Because a lot of the time what you're going to do is you're going to give Havok to the opponent, and then he's just going to have plays that really don't cost him that much. And so you will have spent 4 energy for very little gain. Bottom line, this is not a good card. Its best case scenario is less than 3 power for 1 energy, and that best case scenario isn't that easy to set up because it requires you to have a 3 cost card in your hand to play with him on turn 5. This isn't a good card. My recommendation is not to buy it, not to spend tokens on it. As for the other Spotlight Caches, Legion is good, but not essential. Nico's really good, gets played in a lot of decks. Should you spend Spotlight Caches just on Nico? I'll leave that up to you. I'd probably wait on the Spotlight Caches and buy Nico with tokens at some point in the future. Or wait until Nico's in a Spotlight Cache with better cards. Because if I try to get Nico with a Spotlight Cache and I get Havok, I'm going to be real sad. If I try to get Nico and I get Legion, okay. If I try to get Nico and I get a random card, I think, the majority of the cards, so I'm probably just getting tokens and I'd be sad. So I don't think this is the week to spend your Spotlight Caches, and certainly don't spend them hoping to get Havok unless you are a collector. That's my opinion.